for having the biggest brown eyes and the tickliest feet, for always being pleased to see you and being there when no one else is, for always being on your side and loving you just the way you are. Animals give us so much. Wouldn't it be nice to give something back? Will you help PDSA, Britain's veterinary charity, look after sick and injured pets? Pets that may not otherwise get the treatment they need. Will you give something back?
And they called it puppy love.
Hi, I'm Kayleigh. I'm here at the PDSA Pet Aid Hospital with veterinary nurse Paula Holland. I'm here to ask a few questions.
Good morning.
First question, how did you get into caring for animals?
Well, I first had a Saturday job at a local veterinary practice when I was about 15, and then once I left school I set upon a youth training scheme in pre-veterinary nursing, which involved attending college, sandwich course at college, and training in a practice. And once I was 17, I was able to register with the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons and start my veterinary nursing training in an approved training centre. And then I was able to go to college and qualify that way.
Did you have to do a lot of training to become a veterinarian?
Yes, you have to. I had a little green book at the time, which was a practical book, and which I used to have to complete tasks and get them signed off. And then as I went to college, there was an awful lot of theory work that I needed to do, and examinations at the end of that.
What first inspired you to care for animals?
I think I was a child. I always grew up with animals in the house. We had dogs and cats and fish, and I always had a love of animals. And as I got older, it was horses and things. So I guess it seemed a natural route for me to pursue.
Where do animals go after they've been treated here?
The animals treated here at the PDSA are people's animals. So they are owned animals, so they would generally go back to their own homes once they've been treated.
Where do most of the funding for the PDSA come from?
The PDSA is a charity. Okay, they have 45 hospitals nationwide, paid hospitals, and various other schemes in place to treat sort of owned animals. Primarily, that we treat animals of people who are on either housing benefit or council tax benefit. We don't receive any government funding at all, so it is all charitable donations, donations from wills, and so forth.
Do you get affected by the state and some of the animals coming?
Yes, occasionally you do, but you have to remain professional at all times. And the fact that you're able to try and care for these animals and make life a little bit better for them does play an important role.
That's all those questions.
Thank you very much.
And why I love her so. And they called it puppy love.
I'm here with Nikki, Area Supervisor for Animal Welfare Trust, and I'm going to ask a few questions. Hi Nikki.
Hiya.
How many animals are you currently looking after at Woodside?
Approximately 150 at the moment, and that's, to be fair, 150, between 150 and 180 at any given time, really.
And do you have many happy endings for animals?
We do. I mean, all the animals here are home visited prior to them going out. Lots of our animals come in for all sorts of different reasons, so what we don't want to do is put them into another home environment which they've suffers from a form of neglect, or a lot of neglect, unfortunately, nowadays is contributed by the fact that people just aren't knowledgeable enough in animal welfare to be able to look after their animals properly. So we home visit everybody that takes on our animals to make sure that that doesn't happen again, and we also do after home visits 6 to 9 months after they've adopted, which the people don't know about.
Do you often have to take the animals back, or?
Very rarely, very rarely.
What types of animals do you look after here at Woodside?
We have dogs, cats, we have the farm animals, we have pigs, sheep, goats, hamsters, gerbils, mice, rats, all the little furries.
What state do a lot of the animals come in? Is it like quite a...
Most of the animals come in a very good condition.
Yeah.
Most of the animals have come from loving homes and have come in for reasons out of the owner's control, whether it's they're moving into rented and not allowed to take the pets because landlords don't give permission. Marriage breakups is another one. Lots and lots of the animals come in from very loving homes, but circumstances unfortunately have changed.
Yeah.
Some animals, however, don't. I would say 95% of our animals come in very, very well looked after. There's that 5% that don't. And that is, like I said before, not intentional cruelty, but neglect because people aren't knowledgeable enough to look after their animals.
How does it feel like if they come in a bad state? How do you manage to not let your emotions...
You have to focus more on the animal's need than you do the people, to be honest. So you have to, it's very difficult, you have to keep your emotions under control. Again, especially if the people aren't knowledgeable enough and they don't realise what they've done. The people that bring the animals in that have been deliberately cruel to them, to be honest, don't actually walk through the doors. They tend to be people that will dump the animals at the gates, leave the animals in cat baskets, rather than face speaking to the staff to explain why the animal's in this state. They are rather just dumped in baskets or tied and left. Sometimes we've had cases which have been passed on to RSPCA if they're severely been mistreated. So.
How does it make you feel to know you're helping all the animals here?
Fantastic. It's a very worthwhile job, especially when you have, say, starvation cases come in. And I'll show you some pictures of a couple of starvation cases that we had, which you might want to take away with you. But very good because they come in on death's door, so to speak, and then when you see them fully recovered going out to new homes, that's the best part of the job. And just training some of the unruly dogs that we have here, calming them down a little bit prior to them being rehomed as well is very rewarding, because we have some Fruit Loops definitely down in the kennels. So once they've calmed and quietened down and we work with them, it's nice to be able to put the right dog with the right family. We do have to say no to some people if they choose a dog and we know that they're not going to be able to cope. We advise against it and maybe sway them to maybe choose another, because we not only have their best interests at heart, we have obviously the animals here at heart because they've been rehomed once. We don't want them to have to be returned to us again. So for instance, if someone wants a 9-month-old border collie and they work an 8-hour day, they're not going to have a home to come back to. So that's why we'll kind of like sway their decision onto another dog or just say no.
And why I love her so. And they called it puppy love, just because we're in our teens.
Animals are mistreated every day. Over 100 animals are abused and abandoned every 2 weeks. Woodside Animal Trust are here to help. They have over 180 animals in their care at this moment in time. With your help, Woodside can help a lot more animals to get rid of their abusive past and putting them into loving homes. You can also help by adopting an animal by calling 01752 347 503, and you too could make a difference in an animal's life.